My beloved brothers and sisters, there comes a point in your life where the pain of holding on becomes heavier than the fear of letting go. And it's in that moment when your heart says, Ya Allah, I accept what you've written, that something shifts, not just around you, but inside of you. You begin to rise. You see, we struggle because we keep fighting what Allah has already decreed. We try to control the uncontrollable. But the moment you say, I trust you, Ya Rabb, you're no longer resisting His mercy, you're walking into it. And that is where true peace begins. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means giving in to a plan that is wiser than yours. It's not weakness, it's worship. And Allah has promised, indeed, with hardship comes ease. Surah Ash-Shar 94:6. So if you're tired, confused, or lost, maybe this is the moment. The moment where you let go and let Allah raise you, restore you, and guide you to exactly where you're meant to be. 1. The struggle before surrender. Before surrendering to Allah's plan, the heart often goes through a storm of confusion. You question everything, why your du'as are delayed, why your pain keeps increasing, why the answers seem silent. But the struggle is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of your sincerity. Even the Prophet ﷺ cried out in hardship. Your cries, your restless nights, your silent frustration, they are seen. Allah never abandons the one who turns to Him with a trembling heart. The struggle is not wasted, it softens the soul for what's coming. Sometimes Allah allows the pain to linger so that you reach a level of humility you would have never found in comfort. Look at Yunus in the belly of the whale. His real surrender came after the struggle. He had to feel trapped, forgotten by the world, before he turned completely to Allah. Our struggles are our whales. They isolate us, shake us, and finally bring us to a realization no one can help us but Allah. That's not a punishment. That's purification. It's during the struggle that your prayers become real, not rushed, not robotic, but full of tears and trembles. It's when the soul finally begins to speak what the tongue had memorized for years. Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil doesn't just become a verse, it becomes your reality. Allah hears it from your brokenness, and that brokenness becomes the doorway to your strength. In the struggle, your faith is not tested to break, it's tested to awaken. Think of Maryam, exhausted, alone, under a palm tree. She cried out in despair, wishing for death. But it was right there, in that moment of complete emptiness, that Allah sent her relief. The date tree shook, the stream flowed, and a miracle was born. Often, it's just when you feel you can't go on anymore that the ease begins. Allah allows you to bend, not to break, but so you finally let go of control and witness His power. Many people feel guilty for struggling, as if true faith means you're always calm. That's not true. Even the prophets had moments of intense fear, sadness, and frustration. What matters is not the absence of struggle, it's who you turn to in that struggle. Allah doesn't expect perfection. He expects connection. Even if all you can say is, Ya Allah, help me, that is enough. In fact, sometimes that's all your heart truly needs. The beauty is when the struggle is finally over, you look back and realize it shaped you, it deepened you, it made your heart more reliant, your prayers more sincere, your vision more eternal. Allah never wasted your pain. You needed that night to value the light. And now, as you surrender, you're not falling, you're rising. Because those who submit to Allah never lose. They are simply being prepared for something far greater than they imagined. 2. What true acceptance looks like in Islam. True acceptance in Islam is not a passive act. It's a conscious, deliberate trust in Allah's wisdom even when your heart is aching. It's looking at what didn't work out and saying Alhamdulillah with tears in your eyes. It's when you stop trying to control what's beyond your reach and start focusing on pleasing the one who already controls everything. Acceptance is not giving up, it's giving in to the one who knows the full picture. In the Quran, Allah teaches us that He plans with precision. Nothing is random. Every delay, every heartbreak, every test, it's crafted with care. Acceptance begins when you stop seeing your hardship as a punishment and start seeing it as a path to closeness with your Lord. The pain might still be there, but the heart no longer resists it. Instead, it turns that pain into dua, into patience, into quiet strength. Think of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salatu when he was commanded to leave his wife and child in the barren desert. True acceptance was in his feet as he walked away, not knowing how they would survive, but knowing that Allah had instructed him. It wasn't easy, but it was trust. And that trust led to the miracle of Zamzam. That's what true acceptance looks like. Letting go of your own understanding and leaning entirely on Allah's promise. Acceptance in Islam doesn't mean you won't feel sadness. Maryam felt deep anguish even while being chosen by Allah. Yaqub as-Salaha cried until he went blind. The Prophet ﷺ buried multiple children with his own hands. Pain is not proof of weakness, it's proof that you're human. But what Islam teaches is this: even in sorrow, we say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Even in loss, we remember our return is to Him. When you truly accept Allah's decree, your complaints turn into conversations. You don't just say, why me? You say, Ya Allah, guide me through this. You start recognizing that your situation is not happening to destroy you, but to direct you. You stop asking for the storm to disappear and start asking for the strength to walk through it with dignity and faith. True acceptance shows in the way you treat others during your own hardship. You smile even while you're healing. You give even when you're waiting to receive. You forgive even when you haven't yet been healed. Because deep down, your heart knows whatever I do for Allah, He will return it in ways beyond my imagination. Acceptance isn't just internal, it's visible in your character. In Islam, acceptance is deeply connected to tawakkul, reliance on Allah. It's not passive sitting, it's active faith. You tie your camel, you do your best, and then you say, Ya Allah, I leave the result to you. Whether things go how you wanted or not, you still say Alhamdulillah. That's the beauty of a heart anchored in Allah. It finds peace in both abundance and restriction. Prophet Musa alayhi salam stood at the sea with a terrified nation behind him and an enemy approaching. From the outside, there was no escape. But he said with full certainty, my Lord is with me. He will guide me. That's the language of acceptance. It's calm in chaos. It's faith when nothing makes sense. It's the soul's refusal to panic because it knows who is in charge. Acceptance doesn't mean you don't ask Allah for change. It means you keep asking while also trusting that the current moment is exactly where you're meant to be. You raise your hands in dua, but your heart is not desperate, it's assured, because it knows if it's delayed, it's wisdom. If it's different, it's mercy. If it's denied, it's protection. That level of peace comes only from Allah. In your quietest moments, you'll find acceptance growing when you reflect on how far you've come. Remember the times you thought you'd never recover, and yet here you are. That's Allah's mercy. That's proof that His plan was always at work, even when you couldn't see it. Sometimes just surviving is a sign that Allah was with you the whole time. True acceptance is when you stop living for the outcome and start living for Allah's pleasure. You stop chasing certainty in this world and start chasing nearness to the one who controls it. And that shift changes everything. Your goals become purer, your heart becomes softer, and your vision becomes clearer. This world is no longer your destination, it's just your journey. And finally, when acceptance settles in your heart, you feel light, not because the hardship is gone, but because the resistance is. You walk slower, breathe deeper, and smile more, not because life is perfect, but because you know it's divinely orchestrated. You trust that whatever you lost, Allah will replace. Whatever hurt, He will heal. Whatever confused you, He will clarify. And that trust is where your real strength begins. 3. The turning point. From resistance to reliance. There's a moment in every believer's life when something shifts, a breaking point that becomes a beginning. The heart, once heavy with resistance, starts to soften. You no longer fight what's happening. You no longer demand to understand everything. That's the turning point. When your tears change from frustration to submission. When instead of asking, why me? You whisper, guide me. Resistance is rooted in fear. Fear of losing control. Fear that what's ahead will break you. Fear that Allah's plan might not align with your own. But when the heart realizes it was never in control to begin with, peace starts to enter. You don't surrender because you've given up. You surrender because you finally trust the one who never gave up on you. The Quran reminds us of this moment in the story of Musa alayhi salam, standing at the Red Sea with an army behind him and no path ahead. His people panicked, but he said calmly, "Indeed, my Lord is with me. He will guide me." That was his turning point. When the outward reality looked impossible, he still chose reliance. And that reliance became the doorway to the miracle. From resistance to reliance is not a straight path. It's filled with relapses, doubts, and moments of weakness. But with every prayer, every cry in sujood, every whispered Hasbi Allahu, you're walking closer to Allah. You may stumble, but you're still moving forward. And Allah sees that effort. He loves it. He nurtures it. Until your heart stops wrestling with His decree. Reliance is not laziness.